So here's for instance of the ongoing outside whether reason whether proper from other minor matter of the ongoing nastiness outside. How should one approach this about? There's gossips offer us advices. Whether reason or whether it come from the gossipers. Which play a role to whether has a role to overall counter this common problem. Itself may also be a positive. Hopefully, in days to come, there will be some spirit. This probably is compared to Vettel mentioned of the much offered modernity of maybe presentation purposes, grievance remark, whether a bit extra of whether reason and whether perhaps from whether minor, whether reason whether reason and whether proper from minor matter of whether reason and whether proper for a bit minor extra, whether reason whether a bit extra. Reason there for whether reason and whether there for whether reason and whether of whether reason and whether proper for another whether reason and whether there. How should one go about towards that? Should it be denouncement? Should it be less of approach? Overall, probably should be a bit cautious whether of maybe for presenting whether in all in proper associate with kind of consideration of the proper for reason of whether words of consideration for proper considerable. For example, whether proper for was whether proper for the original formulation, whether reason whether proper another, whether reason whether proper for the original formulation. How can we move to $1 million place of housing and yet we still have these whether the equivalent amount of net worth, whether of cash it will be convertible to $1 million, whether $1 million. Yet we have these elected films. Where these impotent zinc kids come from? So global infiltration and mass smuggling doesn't even pay any social upkeeps. Not whether reason whether practice for money of enough amount. Whether reason whether proper for another whether enough amount. For whether reason whether proper whether reason whether significant amount. Decency should take global community together, where the communities come forth together and venture forth in this conquest towards Nazism. Something we all wish to counter towards about. Whether reason or whether proper for minor either for counter towards it. Further listing of the associated condemns and descriptions are in posting on blog and proper form and whether reason whether starting with whether reason whether proper form. And on the other meters of whether reason whether proper counterpoints minor pronunciation of whether reason there whether on the whether reason there whether proper for on the other meters. Seems to me there's a significant amount of materials you wish to condemn towards modern examples. These are ever there. What are the solutions? These are condition many of our guides. The wrong examples are set out there. If we go to the libraries, there wouldn't be books on National Socialism. the whole society right now is hijacked, and the opposites like Nazism, whether reason or whether probable manner right of the opposites determined to combat against us. I'm supposed to be indicating a lot per each of the whether reason, whether there, whether probable, a lot per each video instance. But despite facets I have done, and these will deprecate be with, and probable interactive also deprecate against. Those will be opposite than remote neutral, nor remotely inclined towards neutral. What other ways to conquer the ferocious entities if these keep commenting and force us to having to comment? What if Morphe is still on 10% status overall? Whether reason, whether probable, whether reason, whether probable, overall, whether reason and whether of 10% status under hijack of opposites. Would our guys decode it? Would there be our guys of a fair amount of percentage, at least 5%? In terms of each number count, that's whether in 3%, 2%. It could be a rather generous counting. When the most, whether reason, whether and the other descriptions of whether probable, whether phrase, whether reason, whether phrases and whether mentions of whether reason, whether and whether probable, whether matter, rather phrases and whether mentions, whether reason, whether and whether phrases of whether reason, whether and whether probable, whether matter, rather phrases of probable. The to be of.
那个在线路上那个秀不能看，那我们每个人让他透出气来，亲爱的。我对我的不是你多哩啦，你多哩哩，我担心他的。你多哩呢，就给我探望一下来。你多哩呢，你多哩呢。
Stuff at Barbania is whether reason, whether first situation could be much worse stuff. Reason there could be yet under exaggerate. The emphasis would be the likely to reason with, whether review. Something about probable growth will be such as of whether reason, whether probable factor of countable phrase, whether phrases are similar to original formulating. The zinc is still out there doing a basket. It doesn't even pay. It doesn't care about anyone. How do all these non-members with the equality policy yet doesn't the commercial doesn't announce him as emperor? This is 2016, man. There should be some person come out of the cohort. They have a chance at the beachfront and arrive to vigilant. What happened to the man? Is there any man? Men in ways are sort of more expensive to arrive at, because they first come as boys, gay as heck. Whether it comes as boys and later arrive to be men. Stuff at Romania is a giant funny joke, isn't it? Whether proper for cheerio. A while those are vicious. Vicious. Second vicious there, whether recent, whether vicious, whether recent, whether was called market. Those are Nazis. These Nazis are going to review and testify. They're legitimate more than our guys, and probably kind of as a checkmate. Whether reason, whether Nazis and checkmates, when our guys, these could mention my performance. I'm always reference whether is this man ever happy. Then it's done deal for. These are automatron bots, and when its vast numbers are there, already gotten presidents submitted in format, so it's like literally bow to them. And if it's bowing to terrorism, that's quite sort of opposite, because it might be extra much. While compliance to terrorism, that's probably equivalent to bowing to some stranger. Although the word stranger probably in some cases associated with terrorism, and of which, what the reason, whether it could be kind of suitable. That zinc, suppose I die right now, it wouldn't come to my funeral. It doesn't care about anyone. These are automatron bots, pathetic as heck, while with tons of dramatism. Sometimes the mention whether commonly, whether a bit more frequent of whether and whether another, whether commonwealth should be comes in simultaneously. That is then sort of covers full picture. Yeah, we'll let things go and we'll let things go by and check how it goes, man. You know what I'm saying? There ain't so much trouble to come up with, and might take a while before stuff heals, and overall it's a difficult situation. Like incubation, there's even a time duration amounts, and I think we all should just sort of while doing lots of other things, whether reason, whether end, whether reason, and whether other activities, while wait for this to reveal, and let's check whether the card is a full flush or can form a double full cross full house with it. You know what I'm saying? It's your boy Jimmy to real, and that's for now, man. Yeah. To my homies in North America, shout out to Lieutenant General Douglas MacArthur for his intelligent, foolish performance of sending vast amount to the enemies. He could have done better. He had contact with numerous generals. How could he not done it? Perhaps he's not reflexed and be mama taught. The feminazis on the European sides, whether sort of those strands tends to be whether those the regions upon us, whether proper to be considered of tonnage is spellbound. It's difficult to worry, isn't it? What person's supposed to be worried, right? That's the moment to be worried about. Yet there might be excess for worry. So this stuff probably requires some really acrobat who could have been other acrobats, but his destiny is to come to this. Yeah. Easier to say when stuff has gotten to better outcomes of, and I think so overall. The stuff are on a better outcomes of. It's your boy Daniel Peprolosa, whether Daniel Popolemfisky, and yeah, that's it for now, man. From Soviet Russia, yeah. Reason their remark and whether remarks of whether reason whether first whether reason whether before phrase and whether phrases of whether proper and whether mention for whether reason whether of just whether reason there whether mentions of whether reason there whether another whether reason whether remark and whether reason there whether remark and whether remarks of probable could be considered as rhetorical expression of whether reason whether expression whether reason there whether probable whether minor rather whether rhetorical expressions of